Hello everyone, this is the Earful Tower. My name's Oliver G. You're listening to a podcast all about figuring out Paris, figuring out France, and the Earful Tower, if you didn't figure it out, is a play on words of the Eiffel Tower, but it's for your ears. So what we're about to do today is New Year's Eve as I'm sitting here recording this, and we're going to do a flashback throwback episode. New Year's Eve is a bit of a time of reflection. So I looked through all the statistics and found which episode of the Earful Tower 2018 was the most downloaded. And, you'll find out what it is in a second. But first, a few words about this year. It's been a wonderful year. A lot of new listeners. I think 300,000 downloads, which blew my mind. I turned it into a job. There's over 200 Patreon supporters. And yeah, got married, had a honeymoon, made a whole season out of the honeymoon. It's all been happening, and I just want to say thank you to you guys who've supported and listened and told your friends. And a special big shout out to James and Cindy, who sent me an email this week with a really nice picture. I'll tell you the picture, and then I'll explain it. So James had sent me a picture that said, "Here's what I got for Christmas, and I hope it becomes a yearly tradition." And it was just this picture where, like a drawing, and at the top it said 1 year of, and then underneath there was a picture of a sort of tall stone-like, I guess you could call it a tower, and then running down the left and the right sides of it were what I guess you could call ears, kind of like human ears. And James said he'd had his morning coffee at this point on Christmas Day and realized that it was indeed a crude representation of the Eiffel Tower. And his wife had bought him a year's Patreon support or subscription, where you can watch all the bonus videos and the live stuff. So there's a nice Christmas idea. That was really lovely. And for me, it was especially touching to know that people are giving the gift of the Eiffel Tower, which is 2 years ago I would never have believed that it would come that far. It was really touching to hear. So thanks for that. And also a big shout out thank you to my brother, Tom, who sent for Christmas, he sent me a bunch of merchandise, Eiffel Tower merchandise. For example, he sent me a tote bag that he'd made up with the honeymoon logo. That's me and Lena on the scooter. And he sent a key ring and he sent a mug, an Eiffel Tower mug. And he just, I don't know, really sweet gift. And maybe one day I'll make it into something that you guys can also take part in. But I've been having my green tea and honey in an Eiffel Tower mug over in Sweden this winter, which has been lovely. But anyway, you came here for Paris, New Year's Eve, the most popular episode of the year. What was it? It was April Pet talking about the best street that you should check out in every single arrondissement of Paris. We started at 1, we went to 20, she recommended something, and this episode was from season 3, back towards the start of the year, and I really like it because she didn't just pick basic streets or popular streets. There was a whole mix of stuff. There were alleyways, elevated walkways, there was a bridge. But one point since the episode came out, the street that has the baguette vending machine, that baguette vending machine is no longer there. So do not go looking for it. You'll hear what I'm talking about when we get through that. So ignore that one. And if you're looking for something to do in that arrondissement, just look at the last 20 videos that I did, live walk shows on Facebook down every arrondissement of Paris. Anyway, over to the episode with April Pet. She's a tour guide in Paris. Book a tour with her. Make sure you tell her that you heard her on the Eiffel Tower, and maybe she got some tote bags left to give you. Otherwise, Happy New Year. 2019 is going to bring a lot of cool stuff for the Eiffel Tower, including my New Year's resolution is to improve my French. And kind of scarily for me, I'm going to do it quite publicly with you guys as well. I hope you're going to join the ride with me. But that's all for 2019, and I will see you guys in the new year. Happy New Year.
So, Eiffel Tower listeners, did you know there are over 6,000 streets in Paris? 6,100 is what I've heard, and I've got someone in today who knows the streets of Paris. Hello, April.
Hi.
So is it
Hi,
true?
Oliver.
Firstly, is it true that there's 6,100, or is that just something I've made up?
No, that's true. It's actually over 6,100.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why would you know anything about these streets?
Well, because I run April in Paris tours
Okay.
here in Paris.
Okay, and what's that all about?
Well, I came to Paris 4 years ago today, actually.
Today?
Yeah, it's my anniversary.
I'm so honored that you would spend your anniversary in a little studio near Gare du Nord talking about the streets of Paris.
I'm honored. I was expecting some cake or
yeah,
champagne
but
or
you didn't
something.
tell me until we were walking up the stairs. All I could offer you was water, and you already brought your own.
Yeah. Hey, we'll make up for it next time.
Yeah, good idea. Good idea. So, what I wanted to talk to you about, we'll figure out a little bit more about who you are and stuff in a second. But
sure.
I figured we'd go through the best street in every arrondissement. For anyone who's never listened to this show before, this is something we do a lot with bars, restaurants, I don't know, free things to do, sights to see. And I thought, why haven't we done streets? And then you said, by God, Oliver, I know the streets.
Let
me come up with a list. So instead of chatting about it, I reckon we get straight into it, and then we can sort of figure out as we go along.
Okay.
So
let's do it.
So let's say you're in the first arrondissement of Paris, the bullseye of Paris.
Yes, right in the center of the city. I would have to say that my favorite street in the first arrondissement is also a bridge. It's Pont Neuf. You've been to Pont Neuf.
You've gone for the bridge for the street.
Yeah.
Is that cheating?
No, because it's technically it is a street and it goes over the river, over the Seine.
Yeah.
And the reason that I love Pont Neuf is because of the views.
Yeah.
Now, this is like the money shot when you're a tourist. I'm a local now, and it's even one of my favorite.
You've been here for 4 years now. Yeah,
and it's my favorite view of the whole of Paris because in the distance you have the Eiffel Tower.
Sure. The Eiffel Tower, yep.
The Iron Lady.
Yeah.
You know who
I know
that is. Yeah. You have the Louvre.
I thought you said Earful Tower.
Oh no.
Okay, so hey, the Pont Neuf is it's a bridge street.
Yes.
But does that just mean that the street starts at one end and ends at the other, or does it continue off into the?
Well, no, it
just
ends.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, but no one lives there.
Nobody lives there, and it is made for vehicle traffic. And then when you look over the bridge as well, you have a beautiful little park with a willow tree. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then you have, of course, the river. Do you want to hear a cheesy joke?
Yes, please.
So the Seine is the river. Isn't it Seine? How beautiful that view is.
Oh my God, get out of the room. But that's the Pont Neuf is the oldest bridge in Paris, as I understand.
It is, although Pont Neuf means new bridge.
Yeah, Neuf also means 9. What's
it
that
does.
About?
Yeah.
Confusing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But it was the newest bridge at the time. That's why it got that
makes
name.
sense. That makes sense. So let's go to the second arrondissement. Let me guess that it's going to be like a railway track or something. If the first was a bridge and no street, what have you got for the second one?
No, the second, I would say, my favorite street is the Rue des Petits Champs.
Okay.
Now, when you come along the Rue des Petits Champs, this is the access way to many of the hidden passages that are hidden within the second arrondissement.
Yeah.
So there you have the Galerie Vivienne, the Galerie Colbert, the Passage Choiseul.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
so all these sort of hidden passages that are where all the shops and all that kind of stuff. They're not really hidden though, are they?
Well, some of them aren't very visibly marked,
Yeah.
So
so this Petit Champ is like the access to all the passages.
Yeah, well, to many of them in the second. So and they're absolutely amazing. Like the first time I discovered them, it absolutely took my breath away.
Yeah.
My favorite word in French is flâner. And this means to kind of wander around aimlessly, just taking it all in. And this was the spot in the 17th and 18th, even 19th century that, the Parisians would come out and dress to the max and just flâner and shop and eat. And so by discovering these passages along Rue des Petits Champs, it's always kind of a glimpse into what would happen in the past.
Yesteryear.
Yeah, exactly.
As I understand, because I'm reading a book, which I've already said in a few other episodes, about Paris, called Parisians, by Graham Robb. Mm-hmm. And he said that those passages were invented to keep people clean and off the muddy streets and stuff like that. So it's still a good thing to do today when it's raining out.
Oh, yeah, which we've been having a lot of rain lately, haven't we?
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
As a segue, is there anything to do in the third? I'm not very good at segues. What's in the third?
So the third, my favorite street is Rue des Francs Bourgeois.
Okay.
So
never heard of it. By the way, I thought you'd have done Montague for the second arrondissement.
Yeah, I know. Because I'm a
obvious?
foodie. Yeah, I think it's a foodie. Also, I do have another kind of like foodie haven that's on the list. That's my favorite
Okay,
street
we'll
in
get
Paris.
back to the back to the third.
So Rue des Francs Bourgeois. This is in the heart of the Marais. On Sunday, most of Paris sleeps.
Yeah.
Right, it's the day of rest, family day. But the Marais is the heart of the Jewish quarter. So
Sure.
most people flock here on Sunday, and
But like Jewish people or tourists?
tourists, locals. Everyone. It's a great melting pot.
Yeah.
And you go there and you're kind of like sardines in a little can.
Where
but
is
it's
this
just
street?
so this is Rue des Rosiers, right?
Yeah.
So it's not
Falafel
too
Street.
falafel.
Yeah.
So but I skip the falafel because the lineups are crazy
Of
on
course,
Sundays.
yeah.
I go straight for my favorite pastry shop, which is Eclair de Genie, and then from there I go around the corner to Rue des Francs Bourgeois. Now it's full of amazing little boutique shops for sunglasses, clothing, shoes,
Right.
cosmetics.
Cool. Shopping
But
street.
yeah, but also there is the Carnavalet Museum, which
I
is
hear so much about this museum. I've never
Yeah.
even been in it.
well,
or
you will have to go next year when it reopens because it is closed for renovations
closed for the
at
year?
the moment.
For a
yeah,
year?
it's been closed for months already.
Okay, all right.
But I'm really looking forward to getting back there.
Yeah.
Now, it's a great little museum. Well, I shouldn't say little. There's over 100 rooms in the extravagant gardens that tell the whole story from basically prehistoric Paris up until the early 20th century.
Wow.
Now, what really makes the street shine for me on Sundays is in front of the Carnavalet Museum, there's this great little jazz band, and it's the cutest little group. These guys are probably between 65, 75, and they're out there every Sunday jamming.
On the street?
On the street,
Oy.
yeah. It's like an open air concert. And there's this cute little lady who comes and dances. Now, I've never figured out if she's part of the group or if she just shows up.
I think I've seen YouTube videos of this. Actually,
Yeah, I
before.
think I sent you
No,
it.
but even before, because you sent me, when we were talking about this idea, you just sent me a message that said, have you heard of this band?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realize it was related to the street. And I was like, yeah, cool band. Yeah. I'm not
Yeah.
going to have them on the show. No,
No.
but they look really cool, actually. So that's on, okay, right.
Yeah, and she's always dancing there in the same little outfit with her dancing shoes. And then once I'm done watching the band, I make my way to the end of the street to Place des Vosges, where I enjoy my eclair in the most beautiful square in Paris. Some say it's even the most beautiful square in Europe.
Really?
So-
Place des Vosges?
Yeah.
Okay. That street, I don't know it, but I play basketball really close to there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know the area really well, but I
Yeah.
don't, I never
Maybe,
heard of the street. I'm not much of a shopper though, April.
No, me neither.
No.
Really, it's
But I
to
do
go
like
see
a jazz
this little band.
Someone
yeah.
suggested I do a whole episode about jazz. What do you reckon?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? Should do it?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Let's hop over to the fourth. Still in
Okay.
the Marais.
Yep.
Yep.
So my favorite street in the fourth is on the southern end of the Marais. It's
Okay.
called Rue des Bars. It's a little cobblestone street with stairs leading
Love
up
cobblestones.
it.
I know the one that's
Yeah.
behind the Peloton Cafe.
Yes, that
Friends of the
one.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And the stairs aren't quite as steep. There's not as many as
We
you
wouldn't
go
even
up
call
to
them
Montmartre.
stairs, right? They're like they're bumps in the road almost.
I guess you
Right?
could call it that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it makes for a really nice afternoon to sit on a terrace. There's a lot of green foliage coming down from the facades of the homes
Yeah.
and buildings there. And it's quite colorful as well.
Sure,
There's
sure.
a bright blue facade and red. And so it's a nice place to kind of just hang out
Hmm.
on a nice sunny day, have a glass of rosé. Yeah.
If I get the feeling that area is expensive.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
to eat and drink
Yeah,
or to
yeah,
buy.
yeah.
I talked to someone last night who's looking to buy there, and it's 20,000 per square meter. This
That
place,
sounds like a lot.
crazy.
Hey.
Yeah, but it's beautiful.
I've got a fact about that area actually
Okay.
that maybe a lot of people don't know, besides regular listeners who would know. I interviewed the mayor of the 4th arrondissement on this
yeah.
show way back, and I said, give me a secret of the Marais, and he said, on that street at the end, beside that church,
Saint-Gervais.
Saint-Gervais, yeah?
Yeah.
He opened the passageway along the left-hand side of it, or the south side of it, that was closed for 500 years.
Oh wow.
And he painted this picture of it, and I was like, wow, I can't wait to go check that out. It's just an alleyway.
Oh.
But it was cool that no one had walked there for 500
yeah.
years, you know?
So did you walk down it?
Yeah, I walked down it, but there
Yeah.
was like a sort of like a homeless man urinating in the corner. But I mean, it was still, it depends what you want to get out of a secret,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Anyway,
But that's so typically Parisian, hey?
the homeless man urinating or the closed passage? Both.
Both.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's jump across the river, the
Yes.
Seine River,
Left bank.
and let's talk about the 5th.
Okay, so
History lovers arrondissement, the
yeah.
5th, yeah.
Well, the 5th actually has my favorite street in the whole of Paris.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
Yep.
La Mouffe, Rue Mouffetard.
Oh, yeah, I
you
know that one, yeah.
It's a lively, beautiful market street.
Mm.
It's a sensation for all of the senses as well. You
Oh,
know,
right.
You come down there and it's so picturesque. Again, with the cobblestones. I'll never get enough of cobblestones
No.
because I'm Canadian. We don't really have cobblestones in
Yeah,
Canada.
right.
It's too young.
Really?
Well,
Too
there's
young for cobblestones.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few areas in some of the oldest cities.
We
you
don't
know,
have,
but-
in Australia, where I come
Yeah.
from, we don't have cobblestones.
Yeah.
The oldest thing in my country or in my city is the lady next door.
Oh,
So, okay, so we're in the 5th, we're on Rue Mouffetard.
yeah. And I mean, it's basically cheese shop, pastry, crepe,
Yep.
cheese, wine, crepe. And it's just a foodie haven. It's
Sure.
my favorite street.
Yeah.
You know, when I have some downtime, I love to go there on any given day.
So you go there when you're not doing tours as
Yeah.
well. Hey,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
pretty good.
Of
yeah.
course.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a great little tart restaurant on the street
Oh,
that I
yeah.
love. I always feel like a puppy dog looking in the window, and it's La Maison des Tartes, the House of Tarts, and
Cool.
you can go up to the window, get a tart to go for like $2.50, and yeah.
I did a pub crawl on that street once.
Oh yeah. That's
It was one of the senses as well, like
yeah.
drinking.
Drinking,
Yeah,
thirst.
yeah.
Is that a
lot of
sense?
a lot of students are hanging around up there.
Yeah, because it's near the Sorbonne.
Yeah.
It's not too far from
Sorbonne,
there. So.
the old university.
The university, yeah.
Yeah.
The Latin Quarter. You know how it gets its name?
I do, but maybe the readers,
Yeah.
the listeners,
Listeners.
maybe the listeners don't.
Yeah, the Latin Quarter gets its name because when the Sorbonne first opened its doors, all the courses were taught in Latin. So, and it's in the area. So,
Fancy that.
yes,
And so they were walking around, joking around in Latin, talking about it in the
talking,
cafes. Yeah,
studying,
Yeah.
debating.
yeah.
Yeah,
Not so much
Latin.
Latin anymore down there.
yeah. You don't find many like good salsa dancing clubs. Or
No,
anything.
Latino stuff
no.
either. So April, we've done 5 arrondissements. I think
Yeah.
it's only fair that we just have a little chat.
Okay,
I mean, you said you were Canadian.
Canadian.
I don't know much about Canada,
Okay.
but I do know that it's one of the main countries of people who listen to this show.
Yeah, great.
So where are you from?
So my city is called Thorold.
It's called
just
what?
Thorold. I know most people have difficulties pronouncing it, but
It sounds like a typo. What,
No.
how do you spell it?
it's spelled. I should have worn my I Love Thorold shirt.
You should have. I should have worn mine as well.
I'll
How do you,
get
how do you
one.
spell it? How do you spell it?
Thorold.
Thorold.
Thorold. So
Hmm.
there's around 20,000 people who live there. I've been gone for
Yeah.
quite a few years,
It could
so
be
that
more
may
now.
have changed.
You've been gone for 4 years.
Well, 6 years because I was in Australia for 2 years before
Right.
Paris. Yeah, I
Yes,
was
yes,
on
yes,
your
yes.
stomping grounds
That's
for a
true.
few years
True,
there.
right.
Yeah, and but basically our claim to fame in Thorold, well, it's about 5 minutes from Niagara Falls.
Okay.
And so Thorold has the Welland Canal that goes through our backyard, basically.
Right.
And the Welland Canal was built because the Lakers, the ships, couldn't get from Lake Erie to Lake Ontario unless they wanted to go over Niagara Falls. You know,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that wasn't
That's
exactly
impractical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Welland Canal was built to bring the ships down the escarpment or up the escarpment where
see.
ships climb the mountains. That's the slogan for Thorold.
So that's why you're famous.
Yeah.
Thorold, it sounds like a Norse god, Thor.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
It comes from that.
Pardon?
Maybe it comes from that. Maybe that's where it all started.
Well, it comes from Sir John Thorold, who was
Hang on, we're not here for a
yeah.
history
Okay,
lesson on
so
Canada.
anyway,
I was doing small talk.
We can talk about this another time.
No,
sure.
yeah, well, that's the thing. We'll have you on the show again.
Yeah, awesome.
But if I were to ask you, hey, look, I'm a tourist. I'm staying in the 6th arrondissement.
Yeah.
I just want to walk down a nice street.
Okay.
What would you say to me?
So I would definitely say the Cour de Commerce Saint-André. So this is
Long name.
Yeah, it is a combination of a small medieval cobblestone street, but
Yeah.
like I'm pretty sure the cobblestones
You're
are
obsessed with
originals.
cobblestone.
I know.
Yeah.
I love them. But
Yeah.
here they're really uneven. Like I
Sure.
wore high heels down there a few weeks ago and I almost broke my ankle. So
Really?
don't wear the high heels, ladies. Okay.
Or men.
Or men. Oh yes, true. But part of it is one of those covered passages
You're
as
obsessed
well.
with the covered
I
passages
know
as well.
they're amazing,
Yeah,
but you
okay.
need. I have done tours, and I will continue.
Yeah.
You know, it was actually a custom tour. All my tours are custom.
Sure.
And someone requested it, and I said, let's do it. And so I've become fascinated with the covered passages.
Right.
But anyway,
But before you go on,
Yeah.
if you do want to do a tour with you,
Yeah.
aprilinparistours.com.
yes,
Yeah.
look me up.
Okay, look her up
Thanks.
while you're listening. Okay, continue.
And so, but this passage, it was opened in 1776. I'm also, Oliver, a huge coffee drinker. And
Hang on, you mean a huge... Oh, you're a big... Okay, I thought
Yeah.
you meant... Yeah, okay. I thought
No.
you meant you drink huge coffees.
No, normally I drink just an
Yeah,
espresso. Yeah, just like 60% of Parisians.
Is that true?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is true. But the first restaurant, cafe, coffee house is situated in this Cour de
Sure.
Commerce Saint
Yeah, yeah,
Andre.
yeah.
You might have heard of it, the Procoupe
Yeah,
Cafe.
yeah, yeah.
Started whipping out Java in 1686. So it's a nice place to go and get a little caffeine boost
Yeah.
on a big day of walking around and
Sure.
exploring Paris. It's one of those like hidden gems
Yeah,
right
it's,
within
it's
the
around the back of it, kind of.
yeah.
I once went on a scooter tour in
Oh,
Paris,
oh,
and they
really?
stopped there. Yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty cool. Bit
Yeah.
dangerous scooter
Yeah.
tours,
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially on cobblestones.
especially. Okay, let's get to the 7th, and let me
Okay.
guess: cobblestone passages.
No. Okay. Rue Montesseuil.
Okay.
My French pronunciation is not the finest. So, but it's
Sounds
just
pretty good to me. You think it'd be all right?
So it's my favorite street because I used to come down this street quite often when I first arrived in Paris. And, well, I would go actually down Avenue de Rap. And as soon as you hit Rue Montesseuil, you turn and there's the Eiffel Tower. And
Yeah.
it's just absolutely breathtaking. And she just kind of creeps up on you. You have no idea she's there. And especially in the evening when she's twinkling, it just takes your breath away, takes my breath away. I was there just the other day. And again, like I've seen the Eiffel Tower thousands and thousands of times. And
So it's one of those streets where you get it shows up in the street.
yeah,
Right between, I love that. That's nice.
So
That's an easy one.
Yeah.
All right, time is flying,
I know,
April,
it's
as
crazy.
promised. So let's go 8, 9, 10 in
Okay.
quick succession.
let's do it. 8, Avenue Montaigne, which is like full of luxury shops.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Cha-ching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not that I can afford to shop there,
I
but
do my grocery shopping there.
do you really? No. I'm gonna say, is there even a grocery
No, I
store?
don't. It's all like Chanel and stuff down there, isn't it? Yeah.
But
It's-
the
yeah.
reason I love that street is because during the holidays, the Christmas holidays, it's just really captures the essence of the city of light because they spend a fortune on decorating the street and all the Christmas trees and garlands. Everything's twinkling and
Yeah.
it's absolutely beautiful. So 9th arrondissement, I'm going to say Rue du Faubourg Montmartre, which leads up to Montmartre from the city center. The reason I like it, again, it's the segue into many of the passageways.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
But ever since moving to France, I have had a massive sweet tooth. This sweet tooth needs to be filled every day.
Right.
And the oldest chocolate shop, à la Mère de la Famille, is on the street here. So it opened in 1761. It's been there for over 250 years. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So I like to go there to pick up some sweets from time to time.
Gotcha.
And then also being a foodie, Bouillon Chartier is one of like the most.
What's that? I've never even heard of that.
Oh my God!
Hey, listen, we need to get something straight here. This show is me figuring out. You look so shocked. This show is about me figuring out France and Paris. I don't know these things.
Okay, but
You're here to tell me. and the
yeah,
listeners.
this is like a legendary institution.
Oh, you'd be surprised how many legendary institutions I don't know about. What is it?
So it's a restaurant.
Okay.
It opened in 1896.
Yeah.
And when you go in there, the prices are still like they're from 1896
Oh,
for like
really?
an egg
Hang on, what's it called? What's it called?
It's called Bouillon Chartier, and it's a big dining hall.
Mm-hmm.
When I went there, I felt like I was in the halls of Oktoberfest. Like
Right.
it's just huge and spacious, and instead
Maybe
of,
I have been there.
Yeah,
Although I didn't
and-
know that was what it's called.
yeah, and
Yeah.
you can get an egg mimosa or one of those mayonnaise
Yeah.
hard-boiled eggs,
Yeah.
for less than €2.
Really?
Yeah,
Is that
it's
why there's a queue out the
There's
line?
always
Yeah.
a big queue. Yeah,
Yeah.
no reservations, but
Okay,
it's
yeah, okay, I know it.
you
Now we take
need-
it back. We take
yeah,
it back. I just
yeah.
didn't know the name of it. When I went there, when they did the
yeah,
bill,
and they write it all on
yeah,
the
it was pretty cool. On the table.
table,
Yeah.
not tablecloth.
The table paper.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was trying to.
Okay, good. Okay, guys, everyone relax. I'd heard of the institution. Okay, 10th.
Okay,
A favorite arrondissement for many.
Yeah. It's I saw actually a program that's saying it's one of the top 15 hippest neighborhoods in the world now.
Whatever that, I tell you what, everyone's been saying that for 10 years.
Okay.
Move on. It's Belleville in Paris now.
Oh, yeah, Belleville.
That's where it is.
I lived there for 3 years.
Yeah.
I love it.
It got hip right after you left.
Oh, hey.
All right, come on. Okay, so 10. No, I love the 10. I love the 10.
I'm going to say Quai de Jemmap.
Yep.
Because as soon as the sun is shining, that's the key. Spring or summer is here, and everyone just goes down with their rosé, has a picnic.
Yep.
Yeah, Canal side. It's right along Canal Saint-Martin. I prefer that side to Quai Valmy because, my friend lives on that side, so whenever you need a bathroom break, we just pop up to his house.
Yeah, that's a big problem with the canal. All the young people drinking there have got nowhere to relieve themselves.
Well, especially females. So.
Terrible. And there's a crocodile in the canal. Next, 11th.
Okay, Passage.
If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, the crocodile, and you didn't listen to the season finale, stop this now. Go back and listen to it. It's a good story.
And then come back.
Yeah. Just pause it. And then come back. So really now we should be talking about small talk.
Okay.
About who you and I are.
Yeah.
But realizing that we've been talking for 20 minutes, I think we got a quick fire through the next 10.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's
ready?
do it.
You ready for that?
Yes. 11. Passage Turquetil.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a really tiny
passage. And I live in the 11th.
I know, but it's farther from your house. It's closer to Nation.
Yeah.
I recently moved to the 11th, and it's just this little passageway, not covered, again with cobblestone stuff, that is right by my house, and I love it. And every opportunity I have, I would just walk down there, even if I need to get to the other side, like to Voltaire.
So why should I go there? Is it pretty?
It's beautiful, but there's also little pieces of art that's framed along the side of the buildings there. And there's all these old shoes that they have converted into hanging plant holders.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
What's
it's
it
just
called
fun.
again?
Okay, Passage Turquetil.
What a weird word.
Turquetil. So Turquetil.
So for anyone that's listening and thinking, I need to find these, I'm going to put them all on the earfultower.com. Yeah. And in fact, now's a good time to say, I'm going to also put them, I've made this guidebook. It's got all the tips any guest has ever given me. It's on Patreon. It's in there. If you want to support the show, that's the best way to get this guide. Let's get on with it. Where are we up to?
12.
12.
Okay, so...
what do you give me that look for?
Yeah, it's the Coulée Vert.
Right.
So it's not exactly a street. It
elevated walkway.
Yeah, it's amazing.
No, but I like that you haven't just picked. You've got bridges, you've got cobblestones, you've got passages. This is good.
I'm mixing it up.
Hey.
Yeah,
of course.
So it's an elevated park. It was the world's first. It opened in 1988, and it was actually...
Hang on, 1988, and it's the world's first?
Yeah, it was the inspiration for the High Line in New York.
Really?
Yeah, because that didn't open until about 10 years after.
Really?
11 years, I think. So, yeah, it's great because you get a really unique view of all the buildings surrounding the Coulée Vert, or the green belt over in... You get views of the 12th and the 11th, and it's just a nice way to get off the hustle and bustle of the street.
It's pretty different to Paris, isn't it?
Yeah.
I went to the one in New York as well. It was kind of cool too. Okay. I must say that one was cool.
I've not been there. I've been to New York dozens of times, but I've never been there.
It's on the other side, isn't it? It's on the what's that? Greenwich.
Yeah,
it's down there.
Yeah.
Look at me talking about New York. I've only been there once. All right, 13th.
Okay, Avenue de Choisy. So this is the southern part of the 13th, and it is right in the heart of Paris's Chinatown. Asia is on my bucket list. I've only been to one country there. So anyway, every time I go there, I feel like I'm working my way towards my dream of going to Asia, and I love a restaurant called Faux 14. So,
what is on the street? Restaurants and
just
stuff?
restaurants and shops. Yeah, it's a huge Asian community. Yeah, the biggest in Paris.
I don't really spend any time down there. Not because, mostly because it's far away.
Yeah.
But it's...
There's a pretty good shopping mall there too. It's not like Galerie Lafayette. It's more of a local place to go shop. And there's some pretty great grocery stores too. Cool. If you like to cook any Asiatique food,
All right. Okay. Good tips.
Yeah.
14, 15.
14. Square Montsouris. So this is just a small little street, 200 meters long, and it just is next to Parc Montsouris, not too far. So it feels like it's an extension of the park, actually.
Nice.
It's full of greenery and homes, like how do you call it? Townhouses.
Right,
and
people actually live in key to the front door kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's unlike most of Paris. There's a few little of these like pockets of these little villages within the city, but there is beautiful. It feels like it's kind of been ripped from the pages of an early 20th century novel.
Hey, I like it.
I'm going to live there one day.
Really?
That is my goal. That and going to Asia. Yeah, of course. Those
I'll
are
tell you
my
what, one of them is a lot more affordable than the other one.
yeah, I'd say. So, yeah, it's just, quiet and lush, but it's still right in the heart of Paris.
Yeah,
So, 15th. Okay, love this. It's Rue Paul Baroul. There's nothing especially special about this street except for the fact that there is a baguette vending machine on the street. Like, where else would you find that?
What, like a working baguette vending machine?
So basically, it's called panny vending, and
which is weird because there's a bakery on every single corner
I know.
of the street.
So the baker who came up with this idea his name was Jean-Louis Hectre.
Yeah.
H-E-C.
old JLH.
Yeah,
I call him.
okay.
Yeah.
And so he was just tired of people knocking on his door because he used to live above his boulangerie.
Yeah.
So he came up with this concept of having the baguette vending machine. I have gone quite a few times.
Really?
Yeah. And
I think it's a great idea.
yeah,
I mean,
basically the bread is partially cooked before it's put into the machine, and then you put in €1. It's only €1, all organic. Okay, bio, and then it finishes cooking and it comes out. It's hot. It's crisp.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Why? There must be something wrong with it. Otherwise, there'd be more of them.
Yeah. Well,
what's wrong with it? There must be something bad.
Well, I think it's a great concept, especially for the August holidays when bakers can now go on holiday like everyone else in the country. It's just. It still doesn't.
That's a cool story. I'd never heard of that one. I'm gonna go.
It's €1. And then on Rue de Charonne in the 11th, there's a charcuterie vending machine.
We're not in the 11th
I
right
know,
now.
but you could pair it together one late night
with a 1 hour walk between the two.
They lead. Come on.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure. Where are we at?
16. Rue de Passy. It's just a great place to go and shop like a Parisian at the local boutiques and shops. Also the covered market of Passy is over there, which is one of the, there's 69 open air markets in Paris and 13, I believe it is, covered market. So it's, one of the few.
Yeah.
And it's fabulous. I love going there, and just there's an oyster and wine bar in there. So just get a few oysters shucked. And then when you're tired of and full of oysters, you just walk on down to the metro to line 7, and it's the most beautiful metro line in Paris, line 6, because you go over the river and then you have the views of the tower as well.
Cool.
So
good tips.
Yeah,
keep them coming.
All right, Rue des Dames is the 17th.
Where is this? Okay, 17th. Yeah,
17th.
So northwest sort of.
Yeah, not too far from Montmartre.
Not too far from Montmartre.
It's just north of, Rue des Dames is just north of Place de Clichy. Okay.
Okay, I'm with you now. Yep.
So it's just a
not
nice.
Not far from the Moulin Rouge and stuff.
Not too far. Walking distance. Yeah. It's just a nice and lively place for an evening out. My favorite wine bar is on the street. It's called Café Populaire. It's just, you go there. It's €7 for like a bottle of wine.
Hey, really?
Yeah.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah, it all comes in boxes.
Yeah.
But hey.
Really?
Yeah, it's good. And like a charcuterie board is €8. Depends if it's just meat, just cheese, or if it's a mix. But it's a really cool place for a night out. It's very
cool
lively.
because that area, I find when I'm up around Montmartre and stuff, I know all the touristy areas pretty well.
This is not touristy.
No.
Like this wine bar I'm talking about. Whenever I go there, it's like me and my friends are the only English speakers.
Really?
So,
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, not anymore now that you've told everyone.
Well,
you've ruined it for yourself.
Nah, come on.
Hey, that's what it's all about. Okay, 18th now.
Okay.
Hang on, I've got to tell everyone, in case you don't know what arrondissement is, there's 20 of them. And I mean, if you've never listened to this show and you don't know what you're listening to, then maybe you've got no idea. They're like districts, and there's 20 of them. I should have said this at the start.
Yeah.
There's 20 of them, and they spiral out in a clockwise direction from one in the middle.
I say it's like an escargot shell.
That's exactly what it's like. It's like a snail shell.
Uh-huh.
And then you get further out, and they sort of get bigger, and you end up with the 20th in the northeast.
Yep.
But we're in the 18th now.
So and the 18th, I'm going to say, is Rue de Montcenis. It's to the back of Montmartre, like the backside of the boot behind Sacré-Cœur has all those like legendary stairs that you see in the videos, and films rather, and in photos. For me, I just love it. I had a very Parisian moment there when I was late for a dinner party in high heels, running down the stairs with a baguette under my hand, and I thought to myself, "This is what it's like to really be Parisian." But these stairs, bring you up to Sacré-Cœur, where you get the beautiful views of Paris.
So the stairs are good both ways. You come up and you see the Sacré-Cœur, or you go down and you see a view over the sort of northern stretches of Paris.
Yeah,
right?
which is very off the beaten track for tourists.
I had a very Parisian moment yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it. Yep.
So I've been here for over 3 years now.
Yep.
And my French is getting better every day.
Okay.
But for the first time yesterday, I had an actual argument with someone in French.
Okay. So how did it turn out?
Well, I was playing basketball.
Okay.
Down near the Rue de, the one that you said in the fourth.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, was it? Yeah. So there's this guy that he starts shoving me.
Okay.
And so I never shoved back. I shoved him back. I shoved him back this time though.
Uh-huh.
And he goes in French. He goes, "What are you doing, man?" And I said, I instead of saying nothing, I went back. And I said, "I did exactly what you did to me just before." And I couldn't believe it. It was a very short exchange. And I said, "That's not basketball, man." And I ran back down. I ran away basically. But I was like, wow, that was a moment. I had an actual altercation almost.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm becoming a bit Parisian.
Yeah, when it just comes out naturally like
That's
that
what
too.
happened, yeah.
Because now you're not having to think anymore. Just
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, plus I'm quite a docile guy. I'm not the kind of guy that gets in an argument in English. But this was, I think I'm turning Parisian.
Yeah.
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 How about that?
Monumental moment.
Huge.
For you, Oliver. Yeah.
Speaking of monumental, we just talked about the Sacré-Cœur.
Yeah.
Now let's jump over to the 19th.
Okay, so the 19th is Rue de la Villette.
Rue de la Villette.
Yeah, it's a small little street. It's north of Belleville Park, so it's really off the beaten path, and it leads out to Parc Butte-Chaumont, which is the 5th biggest park in Paris. It's amazing. I used to live over there, so I used to run there. It's a natural style park.
Indiana Jones thing up in the middle, it looks like a cave or something.
It's pretty cool and it's beautiful, and it's of English style. Gardening. It's all natural. It's not all about the symmetry and order like many of the parks in Paris. And there's hills and there's swans and there's a lake.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. Also, Rue de la Villette has...
Hang on, but that's what, this street is in the park? Or
no,
what?
it leads to the park.
Yeah, nice.
There's also a very cool restaurant there called Escargot. It's one of my favorites again. And... they have some really interesting food. They have escargot, of course. They have frog legs, and they have kangaroo.
No, really?
Yeah, I've not had the kangaroo
they
there.
sell
but
kangaroo
they do.
At a restaurant in the 19th Arrondissement.
So if you're ever feeling homesick for Australia...
go and eat one of its local animals. Okay.
Isn't it a delicacy in Australia?
I guess it's just as weird as eating snails and frog legs, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go check that one out. That's a good tip. Good tip. Right. Okay, 20th. We come to the end.
The very end. Rue des Noyers. So this is tied for first place of my favorite streets with Rue Mouffetard, actually.
No ties allowed on this show.
No, but for my absolute, but it's my favorite in the 20th.
No, but you have to pick one favorite street.
So then my favorite will be Rue Mouffetard.
Okay, fair enough.
Then Rue des Noyers, which is a quick second runner-up. Basically, it's an open canvas for all the street artists of Paris to come down and create and, just lay out their masterpieces. And the street art is ever evolving. It's changing every day. It's cool. It's just fun to walk down, see what's up.
It's cool when you're seeing the
wall.
Mona Lisa and everything in the Louvre. Go and look at the newest street art. Paris.
One day I was walking down there and there was an artist creating his masterpiece. And he was just like at step 2. And then a couple days later, I walked down and it was complete. He was nowhere in sight. And I took the before and after photos and it was amazing. Also, my favorite bar is right at the end of this street, Au Folie.
Oh, yeah, that's a cool one. Yeah.
Awesome terrace, 5-euro mojitos. All day, every day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to be drinking mojitos all day, every day.
But I mean, it's a pretty good bargain.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for happy hour. It's happy hour every hour at Au Folie.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
A lot of younger student kind of types there, right? So it's a little bit divey. Would we say dive bar?
Yeah, but it's one of those legendary institutions in Paris. This is where Edith Piaf had her, the beginning to her career. It used to be cabaret. That's where she used to sing before she was
That's cool to
famous.
think about when you're sipping on a mojito.
Yeah.
Also on that street, Rue how do you say it? Denoyer.
Denoyer.
There's a restaurant, Les Grands
Le
Bains.
Grand Bain.
And the
yeah.
guy that runs that English guy,
Mm-hmm.
Edward Delling Williams, was going to be on this show, and we got to check that out. Maybe we'll get him on this show.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot happening up there.
Yeah, there's also a nice cafe, Le Barbouquin. Yeah.
Okay,
Good
Barbouquin.
coffee. And in the summer, when we have our weekly heat wave,
Yeah.
they do iced coffee. Love it.
Look at this. You got all the tips. Okay, well, we've been talking for over half an hour, so I
Yeah.
think we'll start to wrap things up. But firstly, for anyone who's thinking, who is this woman? This woman with a kind of American-sounding accent, but she's actually Canadian.
Yep.
Do
Canadian.
people often think that you're American?
All the time.
Yeah.
But
Is that offensive?
Thorold, not for me, because it's Thorold is a 20-minute drive
Yeah.
from the border. I
Yeah.
can be stateside. I'm not one of those Canadians that get offended. No.
Hmm.
So
I wonder if the rest are.
there's some. Yeah,
Write
of
in and
course.
complain if you're the kind of if you want to complain. Anyway, so you're a Canadian tour guide. You're working in Paris. You've been here
Yeah.
4 years.
4
You know the
years.
city like the back of your hand.
Yes,
Uh,
sure do.
People say that it's like having a friend in Paris.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
So,
Or you hang out with them after and you know.
Well, I just bring them around when I have these tours that go out. We just walk around, take in the architecture, talk about the history, eat good food, drink good wine, and most people do say it's like being with my best friend. So
Oh, that's nice.
That's nice.
That's nice.
It's very touching when I read reviews like that. So.
There you go. Speaking of reviews, this is something I never say. If you want to support the show, but maybe you don't want to sign up for a membership or anything, I get it. But you can leave a review on iTunes. It takes maybe about a minute. You don't even have to give it 5 stars, but it's a way of getting the word out. Other people see it. Have a think about it. Put a review if you like it. No stress.
I think it's worth 5 stars.
You think it's worth 5 stars?
Heck
Hey,
yeah.
thanks, April.
Of
But
course.
anyway, book a tour with April. I'm gonna leave a bunch of tote bags with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you heard of her through the show, ask for a tote bag. That one's on me. Just take
Yeah.
one of the tote bags for God's sake, and enjoy the tour. Oh, and if you do take a tote bag around Paris, and this is to you as well, April. Take a picture with the Eiffel Tower and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I want to see it travel.
Yeah.
We've already seen it in Malaysia.
Really?
It's got to Malaysia.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I had some listeners from Cleveland
Yeah.
who I met up with recently, and they said they're going to take a Cleveland pic, so there's something to...
Great.
Yeah.
Hey, I can bring one back to Thorold next week.
Nah, don't worry about Thor.
Oh, come on. We were Canada's most patriotic city for many years, too.
Really?
So,
Can you
yeah.
do a Niagara Falls one?
Yeah.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, that's a deal. I'll take both, Thorold and
Okay,
Niagara Falls.
all
Okay,
right.
well, thanks, April. AprilandParisTours.com. You've been listening to the Earful Tower. All these tips, every single one of them on the EarfulTower.com. And check out the Patreon page for all the tips the show's ever had, an ever-growing document. Thanks for coming in, April.
Thank you, Oliver.